But what the marketing pulpit is about is strategy. Use social media and stop letting it use you. That's one thing about a business. It's an equalizer. It's a game changer. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. I may stop at some period, but as long as folks acting the fool, got to talk about it. And one of the things you want to do as a business owner is to create barriers of entry. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more, they should be given more flexible work hours. We have to think like the successful companies. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if we ever save a soul in the process, don't hold that against us. That's just icing on the cake. Because after all, I am a PK, what do you call that? Preacher's kid. I guess my dad did kind of spread some of that on me, but I have a different mission. His ministry was to save souls. My ministry is to save businesses, build businesses in our community, and put people to work. And I can't think of anything that's more important right now as we face some of the challenges in our community. We need that economic foundation. Build these businesses so we can stop going out to other communities with our hands out like beggars. That's not the way, ladies and gentlemen. We have to build our own institutions, including our businesses. Now, there is no shortage of businesses in our community, but what there is a shortage of is successful businesses. And that's why I started the Marketing Pulpit TV show, because these businesses have to succeed. It's not doing us any good to keep failing. And one of the main reasons that companies are failing is because they don't have a strong marketing foundation. They don't understand it. It's anathema. It's confusing. And I admit, it is kind of confusing. I mean, I've been doing this for 30-something years. I'm still learning. So I'm proud and happy every Friday right here on this show to bring marketing tips, marketing advice, information that I've honed and worked on and test tubed. Some of it's foundational. That means it's been around since the beginning of time. But there's some contemporary information. Things are changing, like in social media, digital marketing. That's why later in the show, you may be wondering why your digital ads are not working. See, the thing about advertising, and I mean, bless your heart, people try, but advertising is not easy. I mean, everybody now, they got a Facebook page, they got a YouTube channel, they got this and they got that. And it's not just as easy as throwing up a page and then getting out a bucket to catch the money. You have to have some type of strategy and some proven techniques. That's why later in the show, I'm going to give you some tips and let you know why all digital ads are not created equal. There's not a one size fits all. You have to understand what the objective of the ads is, whether it's to grow your audience, to nurture that audience, convert leads, there's different objectives. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But first of all, I want to welcome everybody on this. We're on the eve of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. It's going to be celebrated on Monday, and his official birthday is January 15th. So we're going to dedicate this show to that upcoming holiday. And he's going to put that pressing question that Dr. King used to put, one of his famous quotes. One of the most pressing, the most pressing question was, what are you doing to help others? What are you doing for others? And so we're gonna kind of have that theme going through the show today, because I have committed myself. I started 2022 on a mission that it's not about me anymore. It's about what can I do? At this point in my life, I have become what we call a self-actualizer. I mean, yeah, I could use a couple extra coins. Who couldn't? But it's not about me anymore. It's about what can I do now at this point to help other people, to bring other people up. And we had people that preceded us, like Dr. King, who committed his entire life. I mean, really, he laid down his life so that we might have a better life. And of course, people are always saying, well, you should have been more forceful. You should have been angrier. You should have been this nonviolent thing was a non-starter. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes in the comfort of our armchair quarterbacking, it looks easy when you look back through history. You say, man, if I had been back there then, they wouldn't have done that to me. They wouldn't have sicked no dogs on me. They wouldn't have put that water hose on me. I'd have sat at those lunch counters. Look what I've been pouring sugar on my head. Well, hate to tell you, folks, you can't be sitting here looking back on history and saying, what would I have done then when it's happening right now? Can I get an amen? So don't be this whataboutism. What if I was back there then, what I would have done, when right now we have voter suppression going on right now. We have redlining going on right now. A report came out just the other day, showed that even though there's 10.6 million job openings, Black men still can't get jobs. So we don't have to go back to the 1965 Voting Rights Act. We don't have to go back to the Edmund Pettus Bridge or the 16th Street bombing. We have challenges in our midst right now that we can tackle on this eve of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. So, yes, Dr. King had it, right? So if you're not doing it for yourself, think about the next generation. That's right. The things we do right now will have impacts for years to come. We can sit back, sit on our hands, and wonder what happened, or we can get involved. Well, I've chosen the route of economic empowerment. Now, of course, I'll go out here. I'm on to the voter campaigns, and we've had Black Voters Matters and other organizations on this show. But my focus, my raison d'etre, my reason for being, my purpose is to build an economic foundation in our community by uplifting, supporting, and promoting successful business and entrepreneurship. That's my mission. That's what I'm going to do. And on this eve of Dr. King's birthday, I'm going to highlight that throughout this show. Now, also, speaking of Dr. King's birthday, on January 17th, that's going to be a program, a show that I've been tagged to be one of the main speakers, and it's called the All Black Everything. It's a day of professional development. And it's sponsored by the Pathways to Excellence and the Greater Maryland chapter of the National Black MBA Association. So I'm going to be headlining, one of the headline speakers on that platform. And so I invite you to participate and join us. As a matter of fact, you can go to marketingpulpit.com. And what better way to spend Martin Luther King's birthday than to elevate your professionalism and sharing this information with others. And I'm honored that I was chosen by the National Black MBA Association to be one of their main speakers. And what I'm going to do, though, just to show in the spirit of giving, I'm going to I have some free tickets to give away. It's $20 admission for adults, and I think it's a $10 fee for students. But I'm going to offer a free admission to anyone. I got to make you do a little work to get it. If you subscribe to our channel, Marketing Pulpit, on YouTube, then I'm going to send you a free code that would get you into this event on Monday. It's between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and the information is on marketingpulpit.com. So go to marketingpulpit.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then send us an email, and the instructions are right there on the homepage of marketingpulpit.com. And I would love to send you a ticket to this event at no cost, courtesy of the Marketing Pulpit and these two great organizations that are sponsoring this event. I want to say good morning to some folks. Good morning, Brother Brown, the greatest plumber in town. Good morning, Maddie, out of the Carolina, great restaurateur and business proficionado. Good morning, Brother Jones of the 98.6 band, great musician. And so thank you, everybody, for tuning in this morning. And if you want to join in the conversation, you want to add to the discourse, just drop your comments in the feed, and we'll be able to see it from here. And we'll just engage you as we go through the show. So, yes, I'd like to see you on Monday at this event on the All Black Everything. And I'm glad to give you those tickets. And we are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King birthday. And like I say, I may have had some minor ideological differences with Dr. King's approach. But one thing I admired about him was his fearlessness. Man, I'm telling you, I just have this thing for fearless people. I mean, they really got it going on. Because in this quilt of life, we pick up certain attributes and habits and ways and methods of doing things by people that we encounter. We are just one big walking quilt. And one of the things I picked up from Dr. King was his fearlessness. I mean, your house is being bombed, you've been beat up, you've been thrown in jail in Birmingham, dogs biting you, a death threat on your head constantly. And we think we have challenges. We sit in the comfort of our homes, and we've not even taken a stand against some of these oppressive measures that are taking place right now. So I'm going to give Dr. King, regardless of how I feel about anything he's done. And like I said, and for the most part, we're on the same page. But any differences are overcome or assuaged by his fearlessness. If I can just grab some of his fearlessness, man, I'm in good shape. So thank you, Dr. King, for that and for the inspiration you've given to many others that have followed. Good morning, Tanya, for joining us this morning. Smoothie King, hey, Tanya. Man, there's some good smoothies up there in Bowie. Man, I tell you, I went up to her shop one day. I introduced to her through Daryl Spears. Thank you, Tanya, for tuning in this morning. And everybody else who's tuning in, yeah, just go ahead and drop your name in here and we'll give you a shout out on this eve of Dr. King. Birthday coming up tomorrow. That's his official birthday, and it's a national holiday that's recognized on Monday, the 17th. I know you guys probably notice I got on a tie today, and if you notice, my wardrobe has been elevated, lately. I mean, it's not me; it's one of my vendors, Paul Frederick, have been providing these great shirts and all this good stuff. So I'm actually glad to wear these. I mean, it helps. Let's put it this way: it helps finance the show because we are a Amazon. I've been designated an Amazon influencer, and so I'm proud to promote certain products to help promote this show. Because about a year ago, I had declared that I was going to start charging people for this information. I was going to put this information behind a paywall, and people have to pay it because there are expenses that come with running a show like this. Well, I took a different approach this time. I'm going to let the sponsors pay for it. So people like Paul Frederick. And if you want to find out more about our store, go to marketingpulpit.com and you'll see a link up in the top called the Pulpit Toolkit. And anytime I do like this and I show off, you can actually go into that store and see the items that I'm wearing. And if some people have always asked me, hey, Gatewood, like the way you dress, where do you get your clothes? Well, now you don't have to guess. You can go to Marketing Pulpit Toolkit, and you'll see a section called Dress for Success. So thank you for our sponsors on Amazon.com, and thank you, Amazon, for allowing us this opportunity to help fund this information that's so important. That's so important. Let's see, what else is going on? I tell you what else is going on, too. This Founders Day. I know many of you all out here in the audience, you are members of fraternities and sororities. I myself am a member of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and I'm wearing my colors today. But what's remarkable about the month of January is that many of the fraternities and sororities, what we call part of the Divine Nine, which is part of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, there were 9 historically Black fraternities and sororities that makes up the National Pan-Hellenic Council. And many of them have their Founders Day during the month of January. Like, for instance, Delta Sigma Theta, their Founders Day was yesterday. They were founded on Howard University. Kappa Alpha Psi, they were founded on January 5th at Indiana University. Let's see, who else? Phi Beta Sigma, founded on January 9th at Howard University. And let's see, Alpha Kappa Alpha, the Ski Weeks, the ladies of pink and green, they were founded on January 15th. So they'll be recognizing their Founders Day on tomorrow. And just an FYI, the other fraternities, Alpha Phi Alpha, they were founded on December 4th. Omega Psi-Phi, the Q Dogs, as they call themselves, was November 17th. Let's see here, Sigma Gamma Rho, November 12th, and Iota Phi Theta, September 19th. So hats off and much success to all of the fraternities and sororities who are recognizing their Founders Day this month, and those who are not, but just happen to be out here doing good things. I know some people think sororities and fraternities, all we do is sit around and stomp and do fancy steps, but actually we're community service organizations. Matter of fact, we just welcomed Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, who's right now doing a hunger strike for voting rights. He's starving for voting rights. He's on about 67 days now. He's been on this hunger strike to try to get the Senate to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And he is a Phi Beta Sigma. So people, we're not just out here wearing colors like gang members. We're actually out here doing things in the community. And so I say hats off to all of the sororities and fraternities and people who are, and what they used to say in school, the me, Phi, me. You don't have to join a fraternity or sorority to do good things for our communities. And so whether you're doing it as part of an organization, like a fraternity or a sorority, or if you're just doing it on your own, I say let's honor the spirit. That's the spirit of Dr. King, and that most pressing question he said, what are you doing for others? We're going to take a quick break. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Like I said, later in the show, we're going to talk about the digital marketing. All ads are not created equal. For instance, did you know? This is what we're going to talk about. I tell you, I'll break it down to you. Give you a little hint that some ads are created to grow your audience. Some are created to engage. Some are created to convert. Others are created to thank you, to get you to upsell. And we're going to talk about some of the characteristics of these different digital ads and why you may be advertising to beat the band. Every time you turn around, you're putting a new ad out there, but it's not getting the return on your investment. You also have to understand KPIs, the key performance indicators. It may be successful, but you're not tracking the performance. You're not going into those insights. So we're going to talk about that as we get into this show. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening in the news. Woo, boy, this news will make your head spin. So this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a minute. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more. They should be given more flexible work hours. I may stop in some period, but as long as folks back the food, got to talk about it. People give for different reasons. Some give because it's intrinsic. It's part of who they are. Some do it because others give. And some do it for financial gain. Whatever your reason, it's a good thing. So I'm going to ask you a quick question today. Does giving become you? Because when you give and you are aligned with your purpose, it attracts things. People come into your life that you hadn't planned on. People come into your life that's going to help you fulfill your purpose. When you do something often enough, it becomes you. If you smoke, you're a smoker. Okay? If you vote, you're a voter. You sing, you're a singer. And if you give, you are a giver. When something becomes you, you don't need these reminders. You don't need a Tuesday giving day to remind you to give if giving becomes you. Female workers report higher stress. And that's a non-story. I mean, we've always known that. But what are companies going to do about it? Much of the burden of this pandemic has been borne by females. They're the primary caretakers in most cases. They were already underpaid. They were on the front line in many of these jobs. So naturally, we're seeing 74% of women say they're somewhat stressed for work-related reasons compared to just 61% of men. We've got to do better, ladies and gentlemen. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more, they should be given more flexible work hours, and a few other benefits to level this problem out. So we know the problem. Now, what are we going to do about it as a society? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. We're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on this wonderful Friday. And I want to say good morning to a few other people who are tuning in. Good morning, Brother Bradley Thomas. And he's a great community leader, great attorney, just all around great person. Glad to have him joining us on this morning, as he does on most Fridays. Thank you again, Brother Thomas. And of course, Brother Jones. These guys played in the band together. Brother Thomas and Brother Jones, they had this group, the 98.6 band back in the 70s when the Ohio Players and the Earth, Wind and Fire and Dads and all those bands were out there doing their thing. They had the same thing going on, but they ran into some trademark issues with their songs and music. And it took them many years to get out of that quagmire. They're making a resurgence, and they're now they're actually back. And you can go to their website, 98.6. I think the input, Brother Tom, you have to put it in the feed. But anyway, great job, guys. Great job. And I like it. And these are great people too. I mean, musicians. I think I'm kind of partial to musicians anyway. I played a few instruments of my own. I played a little piano, a little guitar, a little baritone horn, a little saxophone. So something about a musician. Something about it. NP6.band. NP6.band. Thank you, Brother Thomas. Thank you for that information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. And thank you again for our sponsors, people like BLE Executive Suites. They have the 3 locations, one here in Largo, where we're broadcasting, and they have one in National Harbor and one in College Park. We have a new sponsor, Passion Event Design, and Miss Alice over there, she just is joining, become one of our sponsors of the show. And we'll be running their ads a little later in the show. So thank you to all of our sponsors and the people. You can also support us by going to our store on Amazon, go to Marketing Pulpit, and also the event coming up on Monday. Everything Black, all things Black. And it's a day of professional empowerment. Let's talk about some of the things happening in the news. Now, this first story it distresses me. Companies still aren't hiring Black men despite 10.6 million open jobs in the United States. And it's costing the economy about $50 billion for that transgression. Folks, we still have a way to go here. And I've actually said this on this show before I even read this article. I said, wait a minute. All these companies are talking about they can't find workers. What's that about? I mean, you go on these job sites and you got to jump through all these hoops and this maze and this and that and the other. And then they turn around and cry, we can't get workers. We got to close this. We got to do this. We got to cut back on that. And yet the unemployment rate for Black men right now is at 7.3% compared to 3.4% among white men. Almost double. Dr. King wouldn't like that. Folks, we have far to go. That's why we don't have to go back to 1965 to complain what they were doing back then when we have things going on right now. Of course, they're going to give you some excuses why this happened. Oh, they're not applying. The skills don't match. Well, make it match. Train. Invest. You're losing $50 billion because of your own lack of attention to this matter. Now, this COVID problem is not going away no time soon. The United States reported 1,820,000 new COVID cases last week. That was a daily record. That's not the total cases. That was a daily new cases. You have to ask yourself eventually, say, are we going to run out of people eventually? Is this something that everybody's going to get eventually? I mean, every time I turn around, somebody else I know has gotten the disease. And thankfully, because of the vaccination, people aren't dying at the same rate. But this disease is still here and it's kicking butt. My goodness. Now, children can get the Pfizer shot now. Let's say over 103,000 people are hospitalized with COVID, according to the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, and Mississippi are among the states with the biggest jump. I wonder what they have in common. I know it has nothing to do with the color of the state or any of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to politicize this, but it does make you wonder. The states that seem to have this aversion to vaccinations seem to have the highest jump in the COVID cases and hospitalizations. Don't have to be a rocket science to connect those dots. And the Omicron is really hitting retail establishments extremely hard. I mean, grocery stores too. You've been to a grocery store lately? Man, you better, if you haven't gone shopping this week, you better get out there after the show is over, because they're talking about a snowstorm coming to the DC area. And it's hard to get food on a normal snowstorm. Now we're going to have COVID, a snowstorm, and workers that are quitting at an alarming rate. We're going to run out of food here in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. So this pandemic is far from over. Now, what I always say, though, we have to look for the silver lining and opportunities as these challenges confront us. That's really what marketing and business development is all about. That's one of the cornerstones of marketing, is to find a need and fill it, find a challenge, find a problem and solve it. Walmart, you don't have to tell them twice, they are doubling its home delivery service. They're about to hire a fleet of 3,000 specially trained body cam wearing drivers. Talking about finding a problem and solving it. Walmart is on top of that. But you don't have to be Walmart. You don't have to hire 3,000 drivers. I want you to sit in the room one day, turn the lights down a little low, and marinate on this thing for a minute. So what can I do as a business owner to capitalize? And I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, but to monetize some of the challenges. Because what you actually would be doing is providing a needed service. You're providing a service. You're filling a need, a void. And so you may have to reevaluate your business model. May have to, tweak the services a little bit. Sometimes you have to add some things. You have to get rid of some of the things that aren't working and adapt to the new realities right now. People aren't ever going back to where they were, I'm telling you. I'm a professor at the Prince George's College here in the area. And they asked us if they gave us a choice. We can go back into the classroom, or we can continue to teach on Zoom. I said to myself, that's got to be a trick question, right? Seriously, this is not a serious question. I can sit in my office with a cup of coffee and teach the students basically in the comfort of my home office, or I can get into the car and drive over to the campus and walk 5 blocks trying to find a place to park in the cold and possibly get COVID and waste my gas. So it's not business as usual, ladies and gentlemen. This is, I know it sounds cliche, but there is a new normal. Walmart staff say they're kind of on the fire because they're saying they're being forced to work while they're sick. Now I like Red Lobster. I ain't gonna lie, man. They have some good food. Man, you go to Red Lobster, you get about the same kind of food every time. That salad, it's usually fresh. You got that fattening biscuit with butter. That thing like butter dripping off of it. And but their workers are saying that they can't take off because they don't have sick leave. I think only 12% of the staff actually have paid sick leave. Got to do better, ladies and gentlemen. You can't complain that people aren't coming to work and you're not paying them when they sick. They're going to quit eventually and they're going to go find some place that does pay them. And companies are making money. They just need to go back and reevaluate their bottom line. Just look. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna empathize. I'm gonna take the other side for a minute. I understand when you're responsible, accountable to a board of directors, when you're accountable to a CEO, if you're accountable to the bottom line, you're driven. These aren't like decisions that you can just change on a dime. If you're a franchise, you have certain metrics you have to meet. So you just can't go in there all of a sudden start giving everybody free days off and medical leave and so forth. But from the top, this starts at the top. These CEOs need to go into a room and close the door and say, look, okay, guys, we're going to make less money. The Jeff Bezoses of the world and the Mark Zuckerbergs and people like that, they have to say to themselves, look, maybe this year we won't make 50 billion. We might only make 48 billion. But that's what's going to have to happen. All right, let's see what else is going on. Now, not getting vaccinated has costs. Mayo Clinic fired 700 employees, which is 1% of its workforce, for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. Citigroup said it will fire employees who have not been vaccinated. And JP Morgan says, get vaxxed or go unpaid. Well, I believe you should get vaccinated. I mean, I know that's a touchy issue for some people. People just say they're just not going to do it. They say people putting things in your body to track you and all kind of theories out there on what's wrong with the vaccination. But what we do know is that people that are getting sick and dying right now are unvaccinated. But generally, when things like this, when these kind of decisions are made about not paying people and firing people, why does it always affect our community the most? Now, the community should get vaccinated, okay? Because we're the ones who are bearing the brunt when people are dying. But then when you start firing people, now you're dying and you're getting fired. So we need a think tank on this one. We really do. We really do. We need to think about this one. Now, the IRS is warning of a backlog. Well, what else is new, right? And let's see what else is going on. Now, this is one an interesting story, which I thought was, man, brothers. NFL star Clinton Portis has been sentenced to 6 months in prison for fraud. I'm going to tell you, people, now I've been beating this drum since I've been on this air. There is something out there waiting. There's a net out there waiting to catch you. Just don't get caught up in this stuff. If you only knew how many times a day in a week I get somebody approaching me about some opportunity that's going to make me rich, that's going to save me money, that's going to make me money, going to pay me while I sleep. Yeah, we all want to get paid while we sleep. We all want to get that big hit. But you can't get away with stuff because other people are getting away with it or because other people are doing it. Brother Clinton Portis got caught up. I really don't believe that. What they say, you can't cheat an honest man or something. That's some saying like that. I think we all got a little bit in us that say, maybe I'm just going to do a little bit of it. I'm not going to be the big thief. I'm not going to be robbing people with a gun, but maybe if I grab a couple extra sheets of copy paper from the job, or if I exaggerate my taxes, well, everything is a matter of degree. But certain things just going to get you. It's never going to work. Anything, and remember, this technology now can track everything. Man, they can tell you what time you go to the bathroom. If you think you're doing something that has a paper trail or electronic trail, you might get away with it today. But this stuff lasts forever. When you decide to run for office, when you decide to go to be that board chair, that pastor, that somebody's going to pull that stuff up and it's going to bite you. So I'm telling you, folks, I'm going to invoke Dr. King again. Let's do the right thing here. Let's not get caught up. And that was the moral of this story from Clinton Portis. It's just a matter of time. Brother Brown said it right. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're going to get you. Tired of brothers going to prison over this crap. It's unavoidable. It's an avoidable, what do they call it? Unforced error. I remember when I was in one of, I'm not even gonna call the name. I was part of one of these, I was working with one of these big organizations. And the guy that brought me in, man, he was crooked as a dog's hind leg. And that guy, I mean, he probably wrote the book on payola. And it was so pervasive that I actually resigned. I said, I can't be a party to this. I'm sorry. I'm out of here. Because it's not, like I said, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of, you don't have to do it, ladies and gentlemen, really. Don't feel like you ever have to do it. I don't care how much pressure you're under, how much money's involved. That's social proof sometimes, and everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it too. I know I'm beating this drum to death, but I just keep seeing so many people who I thought were honorable people. I wrote a book back in 2008 called Played in Full. And what I talked about in that book was the different types of players. There was the pimp. That was the pathological, incorrigible, malevolent player. But then there was that other person I call it the pop, the player of opportunity. They didn't grow up to be a player. They're not out here just looking to take advantage of people. But what happens, an opportunity falls in their lap that just seems too good to pass on. That opportunity came. And that's where most people, probably like Clinton Portis, fell into that group. That's where you're most vulnerable. When that opportunity comes and you to that pimp, the one on the top is going to introduce you to it, you need to pass on it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Marketing Pulpit. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and Brand Leader Model said the same thing. They will find out. They will find out. Just trust us on that. We're going to take another break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about war in the workplace. We got a couple of stories of unbelievable stories. Then we're going to get to our mission, our marketing sermon today. Digital ads. Why your digital ads aren't working? It's not a one size fits all. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we're going to be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Just hang on to your hat. We will be right back. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more. They should be given more flexible work hours. I may stop at some period, but as long as folks back the food, got to talk about it. How much power we have as individuals to make or break somebody's day. Most days start out pretty normal. It's all put together. Get up, put your clothes on, get your little juice and your coffee. You start out the day, you're pretty intact. But some person has the power to break that day. Just shatter it into a million pieces. And you're not right the rest of the day. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You also have the power to make somebody's day. That's right. You can break or make somebody's day. And the choice is yours. You didn't realize you had that kind of power, did you? Well, you do. Man, you got to serve at all times. Let me tell you something, folks. You can't go wrong by serving. Just serve. Do something for somebody. Do something for yourself. Just serve. You don't need, like Harry, what they're saying. You don't need a degree to serve. You don't need your verbs and your nouns to conjugate. You just serve. Get out there and do something. Many people out here, they're kind of lost and wondering what to do with themselves. They're suffering from hard times. Their business might be doing badly. Their personal lives may be in shambles. But one thing about it, you can't go wrong by serving. No matter how bad you think things are for you, somebody else is doing worse. So what do? Stop feeling sorry for yourself and get out there and do something. Serve. Help somebody. Do something for somebody else. Take that emphasis off yourself and put it on others by serving. Welcome again. Let's talk about war in the workplace. I talk about stakeholder relationships quite often. Stakeholders is anybody who has a stake in the success or failure of your business. And generally, these components, these ingredients work in concert. They support each other. We have synergy. They're like, freaking frat, working together. But every now and then, what we're seeing right now, we are seeing them come to blows, literally. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday, 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. We're saving businesses. We're saving jobs. Trying to save our community. We're going to talk about a few items in the news because I tell you, this pandemic has caused some people to lose their ever-loving mind. And why do I talk about it? Because it just keeps going on. We need to rein it in, and we don't need to be part of it. And if we can avoid being a victim of it, then we can do that as well. We were talking about branding. I'm always talking about branding on this show. There's a doctor that took branding a little too far, and he is no longer allowed to practice because he's been branding his initials on the livers of his patients. I can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. He would actually take about a 1.6 inch initial, and the reason he got caught, one of his liver transplant didn't go as according to plan, and they had to go back in and take it out. And when they went to take it out, this guy's name is on the person's liver. Of course, he's been found guilty and convicted of 2 accounts of assault. Okay. A DoorDash driver finds a toddler in diapers and socks wandering down Detroit's 8-mile road. Man, I'm telling you what, these DoorDash drivers, they stay in the news. Either somebody's robbing them, they're either robbing somebody, they're being shot, and now they're also picking up babies off the side of the street. And are the wheels coming off this society, ladies and gentlemen? You start to wonder at some point. Now, this Florida letter carrier, her parents turned her in, who were also letter carriers. She was getting the mail from this old folks' home and getting the money out of it. Now, everybody's sending old folks money, right? So she had her one. I give her credit for this. She did her target marketing. She picked her target, and she went after them. So she picked this old folks home, this was down in Florida, and this young lady who was named Miranda Farley, 25 years old. And the reason she got caught, her parents went in her bedroom and all these boxes of mail sitting there had been ripped open, and she's pulling the money out of them. Now, she claimed she had a drug problem and she was getting the money to buy drugs. But man, I'm thinking about people that I've sent money to, and I've always wondered about that too. People know you're sending money that time of year, and you don't have to know if it has money in it. It could have a gift card, it could have just a plain card. But if you open up enough of them, like this young lady, it's a numbers game. She figures she opens 40,000 of them, at least 1,000 of them are going to have some money in it. So, of course, she's going to pay the penalty. You don't get away with this stuff. you never do. Bad guys beware. You cannot get away with crime nowadays. It's not a matter of if you're going to get caught. It's always a matter of when. Now but I'm going to tell you, boy, there's nothing stronger than a mother's love. Mothers will go out of their way to take care of their children. They will put themselves in harm's way and expose themselves to unmitigated danger. At least we thought. This mother, Sarah Beam, a 41-year-old mother, she was going to a COVID testing site. And one of the workers said, "Ma'am, we do have one requirement before we can give you this test. You have to take your son out of the trunk." I'm not making this up. She picked her son up from school. He had been apparently exposed to COVID, and so she didn't want to get the disease. So instead of putting that little joke in the seat next to her, or even in the back seat, she took it a step further and put little Timmy in the back of the trunk. And now the child, she's going to get her test, but she said, "Look, until I get this test, Timmy, in the back, in the trunk you go." That's pretty cold. That is pretty cold, to put your kid in the trunk so that you don't get COVID. I mean, I will give her credit, though. She's taking preventive measures. What you call that? Social distancing? I think that's called anti-social distancing, to put your kid in the trunk. Here's DoorDash again, a driver who was also doubling he was a teacher, but he was also driving DoorDash, was robbed and shot. And the reason I brought this story up, because I am so tired of teachers. I'm tired of hearing these stories about teachers, and teachers are having a hard time. Something wrong with this society, ladies and gentlemen. Teachers shouldn't have to go out here and do DoorDash. Teachers should be among the highest paid people in society. You got rappers and country western singers and basketball players and baseball players and quarterbacks and making billions of dollars. And poor teachers out here in a pandemic, it's bad enough they got to go to school and teach these kids, and they're dealing with that at-home stuff and the Zoom, and half the class at home, the other half in front of you, and you got to learn all this technology. Then you're not making enough money, so you got to go through all of that stress. Then you got to go out here and drive and get robbed and beat up. I'm just hoping that as we continue to meander this pandemic, that we start righting some of these wrongs that's prevalent in society. And to me, that's one of them. Healthcare workers, teachers, I've always had an affinity for them, even more so now, because they're on the front line of this pandemic. And unfortunately, many of them have been women that are bearing the brunt of this pandemic. And that's why I'm always talking about it, because I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong. And I think we have to do something about it. We have to do better as a society. Let's see. Now, this DoorDash driver is fighting back. He said this customer only tipped her $4, so she ate his food. I'm almost choked on that one. But can you kind of, I mean, that's a crime that's kind of hard to disguise, doing it. You show up at the house, you got mumbo sauce around your mouth, and isn't that kind of like a giveaway? There's no food, and you got mumbo sauce around your mouth. How do you cover up that crime? I mean, I understand the frustration sometimes, but I even last week said that if you're going to be taking advantage, I think Baby New Year gave us one of those recommendations last week, that if you're going to be taking advantage of these services of people handling your food, something that's going to go in your mouth, you got to treat them right. So you do, I say tip, and tip generously, because they remember. As a matter of fact, that's what I talked about last week. A Kentucky woman apparently shot the workers at a KFC window because she didn't get her fork and her napkin. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. Something going on out here in society, or the wheels coming off this wagon. Jonelle Dare was sitting at a drive-thru window in Shelby, Kentucky, After getting her meal, she became upset at the lack of utensils she asked for. And of course, the natural thing to do is to shoot through the window. It's not a laughing matter, but it does make you wonder what the heck is going on. Let's see. And the last story before we get to our sermon, we're going to talk about a Taco Bell, another Taco Bell, another drive-through shooting. Some guy tried to pass a counterfeit bill, and the Taco Bell worker called him on it, and his response was to shoot through the window, and unfortunately, it caused a fatality. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a tipping point in this country, in this society. I still believe that as parents and as guardians, now some of these folks are adults that are committing these crimes, but the people under our care and our watch right now can be influenced so that they don't take these similar tactics. We all are influencers in some way. We're employers, we're workers, we're parents, we're pastors, we're deacons, we're service providers. We have the ability to help stem some of this unusual behavior that's going on right here. One, by leading by example, not participating in it, not engaging in road rage, not beating up your boss, not underpaying your staff, not beating up the poor clerk at Walmart because they ask you to put a mask on. Don't participate in it, discourage it, and lead by example. I'm sure that's something Dr. King could get behind. Folks, we're going to come back in a minute. We're going to talk about your digital ads and why all digital ads are not a one-size-fits-all. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. We'll be right back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. I'm not busy. I'm just in another era. Lock the refrigerator door. Do not let negativity have another bite. Don't feed it. If we know that women are carrying the burden, they should be paid more, they should be given more flexible work hours. I may stop in some period, but as long as folks bag the food, got to talk about it. I heard somebody say, if you're the smartest person in the room, what do they say? You're in the wrong room, right? I don't know about that, ladies and gentlemen. I beg to differ. I say, if you're the smartest person in the room, why rush for the door? Plus, who in the world designated you as the Michael Jordan of smarts? How do you determine if you're the smartest person in the room? First of all, you can take a poll, give out an IQ test. That's a little immodest if you ask me. I mean, you may be, but I'm not sure that's something you want to brag about and tell everybody, look, all these folks in this room with me are my intellectual inferiors. So I say before you rush for the door, before you grab your oversized hat, I say before you declare yourself the smartest person in the room, and it's by chance you do, instead of rushing for the exit door, why don't you do this? Stick around a while. Share some of that knowledge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go to marketingpulpit.com and find out about the event that we're having on Monday. It's a MLK inspired event. It's called All Black Everything. And it's it's to help people in the area of economics, business development, and a few other things. I'm going to be on the main stage. And I also put a challenge out. Anybody who wants to get a free ticket, it's $20 admission, but I'm offering to my listeners a free ticket of, you go to marketingpulpit.com and put in go to our YouTube channel and follow us, subscribe, and then send an email to contact@marketingpulpit.com, and we'll send you a free ticket to that event coming up on Monday. So I want to see you there because this is going to be a good way to spend your Martin Luther King birthday instead of doing some of the other things that people tend to do on these holidays. So looking forward to getting your email. So go to marketingpulpit.com, find out more about the event, and we'll be on the lookout for your subscription to our YouTube channel. Also want to do a recognize the passing of an icon, Sidney Poitier. He passed away this week. And one thing that we've done on this show on a routine basis is to recognize some of our icons and their passing. And so I'm also going to dedicate this show to the great Sidney Poitier. I remember him in that movie Raven in the Sun. It was remade recently, but not too long ago, by Puff Daddy and P. Diddy and what the lady used to be on Bill Cosby show, Felicia Rashad and Sanaya Latham. I saw that the other day, and I thought about Sidney Poitier. Right after I'd seen the show, found out he had passed away. So much prayers to him and his family, and that's the great Sidney Poitier. Let's wrap up the show today. We're going to talk about the getting better results for your ads. Now, many people run ads on social media. And a couple of things that is going to, those ads are not guaranteed to work. People are pumping in this money on Facebook. They do a Facebook ad, they do a LinkedIn ad, they do Google ads. They're doing ads of all different types. And the problem is that there's not much of a strategy on the placement of these ads. And the goals are not necessarily clear. I'm gonna give you 3 different types of ads that you might want to use when you're running your ads that would be sure to increase your results. Now, the first one we call, it's really called a lead magnet. And what we do, you put it behind what we call gated content. In other words, you have to do something. The ad asks you to do something in order for you to get something from the client. So you might tell somebody, like for instance, what we just did with the event on Monday. You do A and we'll do B. So you might say, look, give me your email address and we will send you a PDF. We might offer you access to a video or something along that line. We call it gated content. In other words, there's a gate between the content and the visitor. And in order to get to that content, then they have to perform some type of action. Usually mean dropping their email address or doing something else, either by following, sharing, or something along that line. So that's one way that we can actually start getting better traction on our ads. And before I even go any further, you might also think about doing a landing page. Now, many times we do an ad, we send the visitor right to the home page of the website. And I've gone to some websites and it's like a zoo. I mean, there's like a million things going on. So you create this nice ad over and you put it in Google, you put it in Facebook, you put it on Instagram, and you send that person to the home page. And when they get to the home page, there's nothing that's even look remotely familiar to what was referenced in the ad. So what a landing page does, it focuses on the content of that ad, and it usually has a strong call to action, and it tells the client or the visitor how to respond. So before we even get to these other things, you want to look at possibly sending your visitors to a landing page versus your home page. I mean, just for a minute, go look at your own home page right now. And I mean, we do one of the services that we offer is web design. I can tell you, boy, some of these home pages, they got like 100 things going on. It's like, you don't know what, sometimes you don't even know what they're selling. But if you're doing an ad, you spent this money and you send them to that home page, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to get lost and they may not. And now you're going back looking at your metrics and the KPIs aren't adding up because you didn't get the return. And sometimes because you sent them to a confusing home page versus a landing page. When we talk about that gated content and the lead magnet, that's one of the ways to correct that. If you say, look, complete this, fill out this form, drop in your email address, and we'll send you this PDF on how to improve your business. This gated content, many times that's done in the form of a landing page. So many of these suggestions that I'm offering would actually be through a landing page versus sending the person to the home page. Another one is called a lost leader. So a lost leader is that we also call this the low threshold approach. People aren't really ready to buy your top of the line item. So you might have one of your low price items, even one of the items that you're offering on a regular basis, but you reduce the price to the point where it becomes an attraction to the people that you're trying to sell. And so you're not trying to get them into your top of the line model right away. You might, let's say if you're offering, I'll use my service for instance. We sell websites. I mean, websites can go up into the thousands of dollars, but we might give you a free or a low price domain name. That domain could be, I mean, it's only going to cost us about $5 or $6. To give it away to you, we might lose money on it, but that's going to make it less difficult for me to upsell you when it's time to offer you a website or some other service. So that's another thing you want to do when you're doing your digital ads. Don't try to get them to buy a car in the digital ad. Get them to come in for a free test drive. Don't try to sell them your top of the line attorney fee. Offer them a consultation, which takes us to our next one. That's called a preview, product review offer. And that's where we come into something where you might offer somebody a free consultation. You may offer them because you're giving them really a sampling of the product. You letting them know that, look, this is how this process is going to work. So you send them to that. So let's back up again. You're running your digital ad instead of sending them to say, look, come in here and buy one of my marketing services, and I'm going to charge you a few $1,000s. That's just not going to happen in most cases. So in that ad, you want to offer them something that most likely is going to get them into your sales funnel. So the bottom line is that when you are doing your digital ads, keep in mind that most people aren't willing from day one. They don't know you from Jack. So your ads have to have some type of objective. It could be to identify your audience, to engage, to collect information. And in some cases, after they become a client, you want to use those ads to upsell. So if you want to find out more about this, we do have a free sheet that has 20 tips on how to help make your digital ads more effective. Just send me an email at contact@marketingpulpit.com. I'll be glad to share that information with you. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Don't forget to register for the event coming up on Monday. And you can go to marketingpulpit.com. It's right there on the right side of the page, and it's impossible to miss. And I look forward to seeing you there. Once again, shout out to all of the Founders Days, sororities and fraternities during the month of January, the Divine Nine and the Pan-Hellenic Council. Thank you again. Once again, prayers up to the family of Sidney Portier. And once again, let's go out here and do something positive on this Martin Luther King birthday that's coming up on Monday. His actual birth date is on the 15th, which is tomorrow, but it's a federally recognized holiday that's coming up on Monday. And as always, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Let's see who's that? Brother Brown. Thank you, Brother Brown. Brother Brown has helped me out today. If you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you got to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. People don't understand marketing. You can't stop every time the money runs out. You need to come on and tell people why your service is different. Why is everybody so angry? Airline passengers biting the TSA agents. I mean, it reminds me of one of those zombie apocalyptic movies. And as a community, collectively, we're going to be taken more seriously if we have that strong economic foundation. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk, let's get to work.